Hey, it's Soul with a look at what is happening to professions in 11.1 and Season 2. This should be a fairly short video. Please hit the like button if it's useful, subscribe for more WoW coverage, and catch me live when I'm streaming. The most significant change happening for fellow crafters and gatherers is the addition of a one-time respecialization of your War Within profession. Speak to Darla Fluxy over in Dornagal. She's just outside the building where you pick up most of the weekly profession quests. It's very straightforward, there are no requirements or questline or hoops to jump through, but again, it is a one-time reset. I recommend holding on to it, unless you've made some really critical errors on your specialization and can benefit from having those points moved elsewhere. Related to professions, a lot of players are going to get easier access to crests. Delvers will be able to farm up rune crests at a good rate and even get access to gilded from high-tier delves. Meanwhile, Mythic Plus folks will earn gilded crests from lower level keys, which are also a bit less complex. I'm speculating here, but this may result in increased traffic for high level crafts, which will spill over to crafted and gathered materials for gear to be higher in demand. On the flip side, potions and flasks might stay mostly even or even trend down as they typically do throughout an expansion. Personally, as an armor and weaponsmith, this might turn out to be very cool, although on the other hand, I'd have to be in town to do business, but with any luck, this overall should be good for gold circulation. Enchanters though might feel a bit of a sting. 11.1 is not introducing new enchanted crest recipes, and players will be able to directly trade normal crests for them instead. The vendor who's doing this, by the way, is now standing outside the Artisans Consortium. This is likely to result in lost income for enchanters and a greater abundance of these low-level materials, which might also affect the way thaumaturgists decide how to use their craft. On the cooking side of things, a powerful new recipe is going to give Feast a run for its money due to requiring fewer ingredients. Credit goes to Nerissa from Wowhead for this one. The authentic Undermine clam chowder recipe is found after completing one of the side quests in Undermine. It starts with O Rats, which may be linked to completing some of the campaign, which I haven't done on the PTR. But anyway, once you complete the quest, you can pick up the recipe off a nearby book. Although there is a catch, you need to have learned the original Undermine clam chowder, which is an old vanilla recipe. It's not hard to get, you can buy it off of Mrs. Gant over at Booty Bay, or Chef Overheat in the Badlands. This has a respawn timer to it, so you'll have to camp it or buy it off the auction house, because it's not bind on pickup. Again, the great thing about this recipe is it requires fewer ingredients. The Undermine clam meat is also only found in Undermine, so if fishing is your thing, this is going to be the thing to fish because it'll fly off the shelves. Gatherers in general though, they're going to have a pretty weird time in Undermine. Since they're grounded, the flow of gathering is disrupted while navigating around town. In fact, a good chunk of gathering involves diving into these sort of underground sewer areas for materials. So it's kind of a disappointment for gatherers, sadly, because when we think about it, well, Undermine is supposed to be a ways away from Khazal Gar, so why are we gathering up the same materials, right? Whatever the case though, gatherers shouldn't have that bad of a time if they also happen to be fishing for clam meat, which again hopes to go for a decent price. A spattering of other crafting recipes will be included with the patch and the season. Engineers can make an engine used for drive. It's fairly useful in that it favors tighter turns while sacrificing on drift. Now this translates to having an easier time making regular turns and traveling from point A to point B, but it might limit your drift time, which is useful for making good times in races. Scribes have new recipes as befitting a new zone and raid with a contract and Vantis rune. Leather workers get a new armor kit designed mostly for classes who regularly switch between a caster and a non-caster spec like druids and shaman. All these recipes come at a cost of 150 acuity and require renown 5 with the Undermine cartels, which should be a cinch to get to. One last thing, I couldn't verify whether or not Blizzard changed the nature of Multicraft and Resourcefulness. A PTR build from a few months back talked about changing the potency of these effects, but from testing so far, I couldn't come to a good conclusion this change is in place. So I think we're just going to have to wait for official patch notes to tell us one way or another, but at any rate, most crafters ought to have acquired enough acuity to make multiple crafting tools, while newer characters should have fairly easy access between treasures, first-time crafts, and renown bonuses. And that's a wrap. I was hoping for some last-second surprises, but it looks like this is it for professions in 11.1 and Season 2. While overall it's not what I'd call exciting, we should still see some healthy profits as long as we follow the basic trends. If this turned out useful, please like the video, subscribe for more WoW coverage, catch me live, and I'll catch you later. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.